Hi everyone, and welcome once again to the final in our series of content lectures essentially, and this one is the coroner. It's one of my favourite topics and I hope you'll enjoy it as well. So in terms of your objectives for this week, after listening to this recording or engaging in the tutorial and module exercises, you should definitely have an understanding of the role and purpose of the coroner. Understand the relevance of coroner's inquest or coroner's investigation for nursing staff, and know the procedure to follow if a death occurs at work that meets the provisions of the Coroner's Act. So let's just give a little overview of the coroner per se. The Office of Crown Coroner is one of the oldest legal institutions, and while a number of the office's functions have altered over the centuries, there's a common thread, and this is the investigation of an unusual, unexpected, suspicious or violent death, or death through unnatural circumstances, with a particular aim of detecting unlawful homicide. In reality, the number of inquests that lead to criminal proceedings are relatively few. Generally, the focus of an inquest is upon identifying causes and giving direction to prevent recurrences of a particular incident. So, from the perspective of healthcare staff, the coroner can make recommendations about the behaviour of health staff or health systems, and these recommendations, if followed through and they're handed on to our registering body, administrative authorities or other relevant authorities, they're passed down to our industry. So a lot of the recommendations that have been made, for example, failure to detect a deteriorating patient, for example, as in Mark McCabe, that's when, as a result of the inquisitorial process from that coroner's inquest, that between the flags result and the detect system results. So there's no doubt that the coroner has a very special place, particularly in relation to healthcare. So that's what we're going to look at specifically throughout this module. Now, I've directed you to the Coroner's Court website, and that link is available in your module. But this website is particularly useful in providing information, particularly for healthcare professionals, and I'll look at that in a minute. But it gives you a really good, straightforward overview of the role of the coroner. It's a great resource, and I encourage you to have a read in it. Okay, so let's just look at this section here for healthcare professionals, and you will have to do some of these through your tutorial exercises. But the Act in New South Wales is the Coroner's Act of 2009, and each state and territory has their own Coroner's Act. And again, the New South Wales Health Policy Directive clearly articulates, for example, what should be done with a body after death. So remember, the legislation, the statute that governs our practice in this area is the Coroner's Act, but the health policy, the Coroner's New South Wales Health Policy Directive on that gives us the day-to-day information about practical matters, if you like, how to document a coronial death, for example, and so on. So on this website, they've just prepared a summary of deaths that must be reported to a coroner, and so on. So we'll just let you have a look at that in your own time. But again, one of the main things I always like to make sure you have on board is knowing where to find information, and this is a great website for you.